The war within Prepatch is here, and a lot has changed for Druid in this short time period. So how then are we going to play it in the few final weeks that we have left of Dragonflight? Hello, I'm Javier. If you are new here, I usually do very in-depth but beginner-friendly and digestible guides for all classes, both PvE and PvP here on this channel. Today, however, I'm doing something a little bit different. This is going to be a lot more of a shallow guide where we're just talking about the changes made and how we're going to play Restoration Druid for these final few weeks. Why then am I not doing a full guide? Because we're only going to be in pre-patch for like 3 weeks and everything's going to change again. That is why. Okay, so if you are new here, I just wanted to go through that. This is more of like a little update video just to get people, back on track for this short time period we are in. We are starting off today by looking at the talents. I'm going to go through Mythic Plus and Raiding and the differences between them. It's pretty well known by now that the Druid talent tree has changed a lot on the class side. More melee, cat and bear is kind of over here. Middle is more healing and general Druid talents. And on the right is more Moonkin. Our actual talent tree as a Resto Druid, like our Resto Spec tree, hasn't changed too much. You will notice that two things specifically are gone. They've had the chop. And that is going to be our Swarm, which interestingly is still on Feral. And I'm not happy about that. Like, I enjoy it on Feral, but I wish we still had it on Resto. But it is what it is. You might disagree. That's fine. And Flourish. Where is my bloody Flourish? Well, it's only gone and gone, isn't it? They've got rid of it. So we've lost a few things there. I do think that in Dragonflight, that Restoration Druid was very complex. Now, this is my main. Obviously, I play a lot of different classes, but Resto is my main. And so for me, as a guide writer, I'm like, oh, yeah, it's cool. I don't mind it being complex. This is my job after all. However, I don't know. I do feel like for me, it's too simple now. But I feel like a lot of people would disagree and actually would find it hard to get into Druid before. So overall, for the kind of average player, this is probably actually quite a good thing. So how are we going to do it then? First of all, we're in the Mythic Plus build right now. I will put the talents in the description for you. This is the Mythic Plus build. Few key differences on there. There's no Tranquility, which is a big AoE heal if you don't know, because we're only healing 4 or 5 people. And, oh my god, no, they've just moved it, haven't they? Here is Flourish. I was looking at it, I was like, I swear they moved it, but I couldn't find it earlier. No, it is still here, everyone. Praise Jesus for Flourish. We're just not taking it in Mythic Plus. Oh my god, I've had a lapse in judgment. So, we do still have our Flourish. We're just not using it right now, but they've moved it, so it's a lot harder to get our Germination and Flourish, where you can apply, twice the amount of rejuvenations. And in Mythic Plus, we're not doing that anyway. I don't do that double build over here. What we do have in the Mythic Plus build is a double Life Bloom over here. You may use it on 2 different targets at once, but Life Bloom's healing is reduced a little bit. So actually healing in Mythic Plus hasn't really changed very much, So number 1, we're going to put Eye of Fluorescence down and keep that up where everyone is obviously at. Using Cenarian Ward, generally I like to use this on the tank on cooldown. It's a 30-second cooldown on there, and it's just a short shield you can put on them. Whenever the tank calls for it or in periods of heavy damage, put Iron Bark on the tank or whoever may need it, of course. And then, of course, after that, we're going to put Life Bloom on you or the tank. Sorry, you and either the tank or somebody that's taking heavy damage as well. Generally, I like to leave it on the tank as default, but if I know it's a certain fight where someone's taking huge damage, I will put it on them. Remember, we can't have 2. And don't forget that with our Mastery, the more HOTS we have, heal over time spells, the more healing we do. So we're going to keep up Life Bloom on 2 targets at all times. We're going to be keeping up our Rejuvenation on pretty much everyone at all times. And then I like to just get a regrowth up on everyone as well. This late in the expansion, in Mythic Plus specifically, mana is no issue at all, unless you're playing to a really, really high standard. Doing, 10 plus, I'm not having any issues with mana at all in Mythic Plus. But I always do drink in between packs, etc. when possible. So keeping up as many HOTS as possible. So regrowth, rejuve, Life Bloom, and then wild growth up. as well as your efflorescence, generally is... I'm just spamming all of these spells and keeping them up on everyone. That is really where I'm at now in the end of Dragonflight, because mana is no issue. I'm missing a spell. Where has it gone? Swift Mend, here we go. Using Swift Mend, if you're not aware of Swift Mend, it consumes a regrowth, wild growth, or rejuvenation to instantly heal the target, and will also heal them for like an extra amount over 9 seconds. In raiding, I'm always like, use this on wild growth because it's just so much better overall. In Mythic Plus, if there's a lot of like group-wide damage, you can use this on a wild growth. If there's massive single target damage, use it on a regrowth. It really is up to you and depends on the situation. And that is the fun thing about healing. There's not a set route that we take. It's always going to be based on what is happening and judging the situation at hand on what we are going to choose to use in that moment. But that is pretty much it. I think generally it's up to you if you go into Incarnation Tree of Life or Convoke. I, in Mythic Plus, much prefer Convoke because I can use it on the move and it gives me some mobility. And also that it's only on a 1 minute cooldown. Incarnation Tree of Life is fantastic on a Tyrannical week when you've got big boss fights. You need an exceptional amount of healing. But on a Fortified, I would absolutely go for Convoke, or if it's a high mobility fight that you need, or dungeon, should I say. So it's, again, I believe it. I would say it's up to you which one you go for out of these two at this late stage in the expansion. Don't obviously forget to also pull out your Grove Guardians. I use these pretty rapidly. They're only on 20-second recharge. I like to bang these out really quite a lot. I really do, and I love them. I absolutely love them. So again, in Mythic Plus, use them, however you like, as much as you like. Don't hold back on using them. Ironbark for large damage periods on specific targets. Use Cenarian Ward on cooldown, generally on the tank. Nature Swiftness, I like to use this for a big juicy regrowth that's instant. Again, it's up to you on Incarnation. You can see here, if you use Tree of Life, your regrowth is instant. Your rejuvenation has a less mana cost and an increased healing. And wild growth will actually affect 2 additional targets, which doesn't get so much of an effect in Mythic Plus. Hence why, again, I like Convoke in Mythic Plus. So, again, just keep up all your hots and everyone, whether that's regrowth, rejuvenation, your life bloom, your wild growth, your Grove Guardians, and your efflorescence. You shouldn't be having many mana issues unless you're doing super high keys and long fights at this point. Going into raid, whoa! So much is changing, but it's fine. Again, because we're going to have longer mana issues, Innovate is really needed here, where you can infuse a friendly healer with energy, generally yourself, if you're selfish, like me. And they won't need to use any mana for spells for 8 seconds. Apart from that, we're going into Tranquility. Oh, it's already on here. Where we can obviously do massive AoE healing for a set time period, but we can't really move when we're doing that, so you do need to make sure you're in a good position at that point. We do, of course, take Flourish when we're raiding. I still can't believe I thought they got rid of it. I was like having a crazy moment. And we do also manage to go into Germination in the raid build. Can't quite get there in the Mythic Plus, which is annoying in my opinion, but it is what it is. You can apply Rejuvenation twice to the same target. Pretty much the same principle in raiding, but as you can see here, I can double up my rejuves. Remember, we're ramping up for incoming damage. So if we know that a big boss cooldown's about to come in 10, 15 seconds, I'm going to start ramping up and healing everyone in the raid. What I like to do is go through all rejuves, and then go through again. I wouldn't go through with a double rejuve on each individual person, because that will take too long. I like to put 1 on as many people as I can, and then 2 on certain people, maybe the squishier people, or as many people as I can get to. Near the end of the ramp, I will Swift Mend into a wild growth, especially in my tree of growth, in my Tree of Life, if it's a big cooldown coming, because my regrowths will be instant. All of the rejuvenations I'm putting out are going to cost less mana as well, meaning we can really ramp up massively for that incoming damage when we are in our Tree of Life. And if the damage is that big, then you could do your Tranquility once the damage hits, because that is going to increase all of your healing done as well. Massive boost to healing there, so we can add more healing and then Flourish to extend all of our healing on all of the people that we are actually healing with that huge ramp that we've just done, basically. And that is pretty much the changes you're going to make to raid healing as Restoration Druid in the War Within pre-patch. Again, if you're like, wow, like that was a lot to take in, this guide, as I said, is a lot more shallow than usual. I'm just kind of going around like what we're doing and the changes that have been made in the War Within pre-patch. If you are a beginner and you're just getting started, go onto my channel and watch my, go onto playlists and click Season 4 Mythic Plus and Raid Beginner Guides and watch the Restoration Druid guide in there. That goes through everything, like stat priorities, cooldowns, absolutely everything, in a lot more detail than this more shallow transitionary period guide does. But if you did enjoy this video, thumbs up please, and subscribe so you don't miss the War Within guides that will be coming out straight away on launch. And you can click this playlist here to see all of the pre-patch guides that I am doing. I'm actually trying to do every spec now. Can I do it or not? I think I can do it. I think I can do it, guys. I'm getting there. Yeah, and if you want more support one-on-one, feel free to join my Patreon. You can do that. There's a link in the description for that as well, and it really helps support the channel. If nothing else, I can't wait to see you guys in the War Within. We haven't got long left now.